Hi guys, it's Xplorer here.
Sorry for the lack of uploads recently, but we've had our GCSEs on, but we're back to it now, so you should be expecting one upload a week.
And we're currently in the north of France and we've got a load of explores lined up.
For example, we should be looking at some batteries and casemates located all across this coast.
Right, see you.
Nice. See you soon.
So hey guys, it's Xplorer here. And we're currently standing in casemate 4 of Batterie Todt. So we're just going to go exploring. Yep. Alright guys, so this is the entrance to the term or casemate 4 of Batterie Todt. And as you can see as we come in here, you've got this centre rail running across the ceiling. Now this would originally have been used to carry shells from the magazine to the centre mount of the centre pivot of the gun, or from outside into the magazines for storage. You can also see this large hook, which is another part of the remains. And this leads from the main entrance we found there, straight back here, into the magazine. Now obviously this is a very extensive magazine, and you've got these little vents that lead down and shuttering all around here, where they would have had shelves hung, and also a remain of the ventilation and the air purification system, which leads through here into this room. And also over here, there's a very large embrasure, or it would have connected to the shell hoist and allowed weapons and ammunition to be moved from the centre pivot into the magazine and vice versa. And you can also see more remains of the shell hoists on the ceilings, although it's barely visible. So if we head through into here, you can see it's basically another magazine. You've got the large steel bolts, which are similar to those seen on Batterie Todt, to hold the steel doors, which were rubber lined to make them gas proof, so that the threat of gas attacks was reduced. And these could be sealed in the event that the bunker was taken. Now this bunker was originally constructed, well not this bunker, this casemate was originally constructed in 1942 by the Germans when they invaded France. And they used this up until 1944. It officially opened in February 1942. And obviously it was used until eventually, in 1944, it was overtaken by Anglo-Canadian forces of the Allied forces, who stormed it and took control of it, capturing and killing many Germans in the process. So if we head out this way, back to where the main entrance is, and head right instead of left, you can again see more examples of the large steel hinges that would have held the doors in place, and just a little passage room with a further example of the ventilation system. Unfortunately here we can see no examples of the shell hoist, which means this was in no part connected to the magazines. Actually, up in this corner we can see 3 smaller ventilation parts, and also what looks to be the remains of a wire, or wiring, hanging from the ceiling. Also a guttering system just down there. Now the guttering systems in these buildings could be both used to deter floodwater, so that the casemate was not at risk of flooding, and the ammunition didn't become wet and unusable. But it was also to deter flamethrower fuel, so in the event of an attack where the Allied forces were using flamethrowers, the casemate would be less vulnerable to damage from fire. So if we head out here, this is towards the centre pivot now. So just emerging from that corridor, you can see this long concrete track that runs all the way through the middle around the centre pivot, which is just through there. You can see it's flooded, so we're going to have to find a different way around to it. But yeah, this is where all of the ammunition and the shells were carried to the centre gun, which would allow it to fire out to sea. I do believe the range on these guns was 55.7 kilometres, which is a very long range, which means they could quite easily hit Kent if required to. These are like the large windows or embrasures that provided access to the magazines, the ease of loading of the gun. Now I noticed this a minute ago, there's just this small room which heads back to nowhere, which could have been used for anything really. Infantry could have been housed there. Alright guys, so I found a way into the centre pivot. Just got to cross these rocks to reach the centre. And you can see the sheer extent of this casemate, and therefore also you can imagine the size of the gun that would have been mounted here. Now what I was talking about, all these small rectangular holes you can see, they had a dual purpose. As well as serving ventilation, they also were overpressure ducts to prevent damage to the main structure when firing the gun. Due to its large calibre, obviously it needed these, so that damage wasn't sustained. And you can also see these huge steel sheets running all the way up and around this whole casemate. Now I don't know whether they would or not, but there is a chance they could have held massive coverings for this entire casemate. And you can also see up there that the whole of the top of it is crumbling. Even the reinforced concrete is falling down. It's currently all around me here, filling the overgrown centre pivot. Okay, that's all I can say about the centre pivot, guys, so I'm going to move on to the next section.
You see this here? I jumped to grab that because I'm short. I can't reach that. I jumped to grab this.
Right, there's no way I'm getting up here. I'm not.
You see what I mean? That is actually pretty cool though. Yeah. Do you reckon we should crawl through and go to the edge of it?
I would do, but I'll do it in a minute when...
Should we go through so he can get up?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you want a torch?
No, we don't.
Wait, what's through there?
It leads out into one of the overpressure ducts.
Okay guys, so I'm currently sitting in one of the overpressure ducts of ventilation that are around the outside of the central gun mount, and looking out into the amazing view over there, the sunset. Now I must say, the sheer size of this casemate is incredible. Like, the drop is huge on the other side of this wall, and just down here, and even down here, where it's a lot shallower, the drop is amazing. And there's bits we can't get to, unfortunately, because they've been cut off from the main casemate. But that's okay, it's only a small little
Alright guys, so I'm currently sitting on this precarious ledge above everyone else. You can see what's left of a section of the building which I can't get to, unfortunately, so we're not going to try and get up there. And you've got some of the reinforced steel coming out of the side of the walls. But then here is one of the overpressure ducts. I've actually just been inside. We've got a cool photo of the edge. But yeah, you can see straight out all the way to the sea and the sunset in the distance. And the drop down there is incredible. It's absolutely huge. So I'm going to jump down now. We'll take a look at the rest of the top stuff, and then I think that's everything done. Alright guys, so there's this small secondary tunnel I found down here. It reminds me of the small bunkers on St Margaret's at Cliff. Now, I honestly have no idea what these were used for. There is a chance they were magazines, although I doubt it because we've seen the magazines and they look entirely different to this. My only other guess would be showering or toiletry facilities or bedding facilities for the soldiers. So, yeah, that's basically all I can see in here, guys. So we head back out to where the centre pivot was. Okay guys, so I'm currently inside of one of the magazines. I thought it would be interesting to point out that behind this graffiti here, you can actually see graffiti that was done by the Nazis while they occupied this base. You can faintly make out a Nazi flag there. We've got some more here. Der Gott der Eisenmachsen ließ, der wollte... I can't read the rest of that, unfortunately, it's covered up. Over here, we have what looks like a sad Winston Churchill or something, I would assume. Again, it's barely legible because it's been here, not quite for 100 years, but still a long time. So it's begun to fade. Some more up here, WC, wie Lanze noch, and WC stands for Winston Churchill, I would assume. And then General Nebel, who I believe was the regiment commander of the Nazis stationed in this facility. Die Zukunft sieht plötzlich so grau aus und wer schliert, I do believe, if I can read that just about. And there's also one more here. Einer muss zerbrechen und das wird niemals. And also one of the traditional flags of the Nazi, obviously the swastika has been scribbled out by more modern graffiti. But that's still an interesting feature, you can see. There are actually more out in this centre corridor, where you can see the two Nazi flags which look remarkably like medals that would have been given to infantry units. I'm not sure what kind of medal it would have been, but still that's interesting to see. I do believe if we head back this way, it takes us back to the main entrance again.
We just finished exploring Batterie Todt, which you can see behind us.
This is casemate 4, or term 4, it means the same. So yeah, we're basically done here. This place was massive, it was really extensive and really cool. And it was especially cool because we did it at night. And it makes everything a lot more creepy, but also a lot more cool.
I kept seeing stuff out of the corner of my eyes and freaking out.
You get some great images of the sunset.
It was pretty cool in there though, not gonna lie.
Alright, so that's it guys.
Peace.
Pretty cool.
Xplorer out.
See you next time.